I'm not gonna waste your time here. Umaro is only obtainable after you unlock the airship in the World of Ruin. The only optional boss I already defeated would be easily crushed. This is a save file from a no-spending guild challenge that I have yet to edit or post as of writing the script or uploading this video. We're going to speedrun how to get to Umaro so I can start grinding and explaining the rules whilst doing so. I grabbed Mog and put him on the team. I then fought Valagomon that gives us some useless tier 3 magic as Magicite. I go into the Eddy Cave and grab another Magicite piece that is practically useless to us, and engage in a fight with a Yeti. His name is Umaro. We beat him, and because Mog has a very high charisma stat, Umaro joins the party. We can now only use him for the rest of the game, and our suffering can begin. While I grind Umaro up a little bit, let me explain why Umaro is the worst solo character in Final Fantasy VI. He is a berserker type character. You can't control him at all. All I can do when he is fighting is just drop my controller and cheer from the sidelines. Umaro is also in a special case in which he is the only permanent party member in all of Final Fantasy history who cannot change his equipment. Not too sure about that, but it would be pretty dumb if they made this mistake again, right? Anyways, the only thing I can do is equip relics, and I can have up to 2 of them at a time. He also cannot learn magic, equip Magicite for level up bonuses, or have a reason to use him at all. He does get 2 unique relics that give him a fighting chance, assuming you have more than 1 party member in your party. The Berserker Ring, which allows Umaro to absorb fire attacks, negate lightning attacks, and if you have another character in your party, he will sometimes throw them at the enemy. This is very useful in some fights because Umaro is already naturally absorbing ice damage due to his snow scarf. The other relic is very situational and very useless. The Blizzard Orb will sometimes cast the enemy spell Snowstorm, an ice attack that hits all enemies, but Umaro's magic stat is the lowest in the game, so I will never use it. It also lets you absorb ice and negate fire damage, but once again he already absorbs ice, so this is only useful if you can somehow manage to boost his magic stat with glitches. Umaro's weapon of choice is the Bone Club, which is essentially a flail that doesn't work in the back row. The reason I am grinding here is to prepare for the Colosseum, which is the only place in the game Umaro can get the best relic in the game, the Miracle Shoes. They are a better version of the Flaming Sentinels because they not only give you that haste status effect, but also give you Protect, Shell, and Regen. Regen is very useful here that without it, we cannot heal in combat, and we will quickly get overwhelmed with the amount of damage we are receiving in some fights. Protect and Shell will reduce the amount of damage we receive across the board from magic and physical attacks. Anyways, I decided to go grab the Berserker Ring found in the cave in the Veld because I realized the enemies in the cave toward the beginning of Nosh will cast both fire and ice magic, and I will need consistent healing to grind there until I get Miracle Shoes. After some more grinding and getting to level 41, I decided to try and get some Miracle Shoes. Before I did that, I sold everything to get some consumables. At the Colosseum, I had to do 2 fights to get my Miracle Shoes. The first is a Cactuar by betting an elixir for a rename card, and he goes down easily. Next up, I bet the rename card for Miracle Shoes, so long as I can beat the Fiend Dragon. He has 4 attacks in the Colosseum. One is a basic physical, which is the most deadly of his attacks, surprisingly. Northern Cross, which freezes your character and they cannot move until you get hit with a fire move. Southern Cross, which is a fire attack that will unfreeze you and heal you, but only if you absorb fire. And Heartless Angel, which will set your HP count to 1. So unless you can absorb fire, you will quickly get overrun by his basic physical attack. On my second attempt, I beat him and got the best relic in the game. I also thought my Switch was overheating and lagging my footage, but it was my own fault in the end, but I didn't know that, so I grabbed it in handheld mode, and came back once I realized what my issue was. Frick you, auto buffer in OBS. After grinding 30 levels off camera and then grinding 2 more on camera, I was feeling violent! And wanted to fight some bosses finally. The first 2 were actually in Nosh, and the first of the 2 was the Ice Dragon, which cannot damage me because I absorb ice attacks. Doing this was a free fight. The second fight was the Tonberries, and normally they are dangerous, but since we were level 73, they are not an issue. One of them actually landed a knife attack, and it only did 2300 damage. and I have regen, so I took each and every one of them down with no problems. But they did not drop a Manuvia Bustier, so I would only get one for later. You might not think that I need it as Umaro cannot equip it, but it will have its usefulness later on. I decided to go to the Opera House and fight the Earth Dragon, and since I have the Angel Wings, he can only use basic attacks to damage me because I'm floating, and I won easily. Next, I went back to the cave on the Veld to fight two bosses. The first one was the Death Warden, who died to a single swing. The next one was the Behemoth King. He has two phases, and in the first one, he was just using magic on me, and it did like 1200 from a meteor, and then goes down and goes into the second phase, which is Undead. Umaro might be in the back row here, but Slam still does numbers on his HP bar. With two more hits, he's back to being regular dead. Grug know not who you are, but he are here to help you. We flew Shadow back to Samasa so Shadow could heal, and I never got him back in the party until I needed a second pair of Miracle Shoes for later. I then decided to go visit Odin's grave and pay respects to a loser who got turned to stone and tried to slash a ghost in half. Before that, I went to fight Master Tonberry. Yes, I still have Angel Wings on because they weren't hitting me yet. Master Tonberry died before he could give me any wisdom about being a Tonberry. Grug knows lore somehow, I don't know why though. Who wins? Deadly Samurai or Bone Club Bonker? You shouldn't have bet on the Samurai because he's already dead. I also picked up the useless Blizzard Orb here too, just so you know. The Blue Dragon is an interesting boss because he can use slow on himself and chop it onto you. But since I have permanent haste, it just means that he will be very slow, and he dies even faster. See? He's dead! I decided that maybe if Umaro saw some art, he would let me give him a flame shield, but he thought the paintings were real. And to his credit, they were, but he wouldn't let me give him a flame shield. Umaro, you are not allowed to take a nap while I am recording. I picked up the littering for a reason I will explain later. Grug not understand flying boxes. I hit level 75 while fighting the monsters in the chest, and did not want to get clipped by level 5 death from Doomgaze, so I got into level 76 before moving on. The next boss is actually hard. If you hit the lady painting, she will sometimes use Entice, which is an instant lock as Umaro will whack himself unconscious if it lands. This boss was going to be very hard. Died again and there was nothing I could do. But on the third attempt she didn't use Entice and swapped to a form I could hit. Thanks to the Master Scroll I was able to kill him in 2 turns. Also, I wanted to say this, as I forgot to say this earlier, but I wanted to see all the content possible, so if I can beat the boss, I have to. We grabbed Strago so we can progress to more bonus content. Then we head to the Master and trick Strago to go to Ebok's Rock. I did not know this at the time, but if you do not have Strago in your party, it doesn't matter how much coal you feed the chest, he will not through. Here's a few funny reactions of me not knowing this. I just fed you 50 coral! What do you mean you're not full? I gave you 89 coral! What do you mean it's not enough? Do we need like 5,000 coral? Why is it so difficult? What do you want? Bro, I just gave you 99 coral! What do you want from me? Do you want my soul? What is this? It says 22 coral! Anyways, I finally put Strago on the party and killed him, so he couldn't aid me in battle. I used the Littering to throw an X potion to kill him instantly. The boss was more surprising than hard. Hydeon surprisingly instantly made Strago a zombie. I thought this was like it did in Final Fantasy V, but no. Strago just randomly attacked with no target whatsoever. Other than that, the boss was easy. I then decided to go Death Days hunting. At first it looked like I had a free win, as I'm not a level divisible by 5, so we couldn't instantly kill him with level 5 death. However, I am not immune to regular death. The only thing that makes you immune to regular death is the safety bit, which I don't have. I found him after another 11 minutes, but before Umaro could attack, he used death and I was dead. I was going in a detective bit in order to survive death. I went off camera in the Phoenix Cave, but quickly left to grab Mulu's charm behind where Mog was at the beginning so I could explore it while continuing to grind. It can only be equipped by Mog and stops all enemy encounters from occurring. I want Umaro to fight and Mog to avoid fighting. After grabbing it, I did all the puzzles to get Locke, and then fight the Red Dragon. The Red Dragon went down very easily without the Berserker ring equipped. We find Locke and see Rachel get revived and die after helping Locke to cope with her death. Grug not understand love. Grug only know bonk. I went to the Fanatic's Tower because I don't want to get restricted to grab the safety bit from one of the chests. Now it's time to hunt down Death Gaze. Death Gaze will randomly spawn when flying in the airship. He changes locations when you gain control of your characters inside the airship. He will not retain his HP when he's lost, but he will flee after a little bit. In the Pixel Remaster, you can visually see where he is, but otherwise you're out of luck. In my second fight with him, he only took one slam before fleeing. That's a shame, but as my next fight with him, he died to a regular Bone Club swing. I decided to get Sign as I thought he might be useful later, but he wasn't. I did fight the Storm Dragon here, but he was very easy. Zion joined our party and I went to the castle Dharma, where I learned that if you rest here with less than 4 party members, you can't do this dungeon, so I grabbed 2 party members and Zion and head back to sleep. 3 sleep demons hop into Zion's mind, so we go after them. How are we able to do this? I killed Setzer and Petrified Mog and learned something new. Petrified party members can gain experience while being in a dead position. Should I have petrified them both? Probably, but I didn't. Those 3 sleep demons wanted to throw hands, which is what Umaro wanted to hear. They could not withstand his non-existent mercy. Learned another thing about I didn't know before, but if Umaro is piloting a Magitech armor, he will use one of their attacks randomly. I only saw fire and ice beams, but it could possibly just be he could heal himself. Time for the worst boss in the game because in seeing all the content, I can fight him, but I am forced to have the rest of the party alive and using magic and items. This is because of the boss's mechanic. He can hide inside of one of your party members, and you have to kill that random character to make him come out so you can damage him. If I only use Umaro, I could never beat him as Umaro dying will cause the fight to end in a game over screen. My plan is to petrify Mog, Gold Needle, petrify Seltzer, and if he does not come out, reset as he's hiding in Umaro, and if we petrify him, we are technically killing him, and cannot continue as Umaro is dead. That happened on my first attempt, so I reset. The second attempt, he hid behind Setzer, and we cleaned up from there. Drugs see ghosts, but they look like people. Time to visit the best character. I mean, the worst character in the game because Umaro exists. We find out that someone is pregnant and that this is interrupted by Humbaba. After 2 swings, his Humbaba breath fails twice, and Terra rejoins the party. I tried to make Terra into stone, but that failed somehow. It didn't end up mattering in the end, but it was weird. I went to go get Gogo just to say I got him. Next was the Fanatic's Tower. Normally you can only use magic here, but since Umaro does his own thing, he's allowed to break the rules just this one time. Why don't you break the rule that you cannot equip shields just this one time, huh? Other than dying to banish, a reflect ring makes their attacks useless. The Holy Dragon is here, and since it only casts Holy, we can reflect it, and even though it heals, we out-damage it. It dies, and we move on. Unlike the Holy Dragon, the next boss is a whole different story. Magic Blaster will always cast Ultima upon death. Ultima bypasses Reflect, so while I am immune to every attack he throws at me, I can't dodge that one. The worst thing about this is Ultima, even at level 99, does more damage than Umaro has HP, so we cannot beat this boss even if we tried. Time for Kefka's Tower, and the first boss is Ultima Buster. There is no gimmick, so he dies really easily. The next boss is the Gold Dragon, and this boss wasn't a problem, and I killed it so fast, I needed to pause the replay to finish writing this sentence. I'm a slow typer, okay? Fun fact, if you use a teleport stone or the teleport spell, you can leave and assemble different parties, so a single character can fight every boss without help. Umaru's next boss to fight is Inferno. I was initially scared because if his arms die, he starts using meteor, and that could become a problem, but it didn't do too much damage that Umaro couldn't heal it off. The last dragon was the Skull Dragon, and this boss is one of the many reasons why I'm not going to do a play-by-play for every battle. Nothing interesting happens and the boss just dies. Like, look at this. It is insane how fast this boss dies, and I'm going off script. I'm not going off of script at this point. The first of the Warring Triad is Fiend. He mostly casts ice magic, but that doesn't mean it's a free win yet. If he uses Force Field, he could be immune to physical damage if it wasn't limited to it only being magic attacks. So yes, it was a free fight. Targeting. That Fiendish Rage is a ton of damage, but I could probably heal and he's already dead. Okay, moving on. The next Warring Triad was Goddess, who likes to use lightning attacks, and I'm starting to see a theme here. She threw out some lightning attacks, but couldn't win damage rates. Good game. Before we go fight Demon, we have to fight a Guardian. He died before he used his gimmick of using other bosses' attacks. Demon is the last Warring Triad member, and he uses a lot of fire attacks. If I wanted this fight to be free, I could have equipped the Berserker Ring, but I don't really need to do that. I needed to equip the Berserker Ring. Flare Star did so much damage to Umaro. This is because spread moves have the damage reduced, so Flare Star was a nuke! I killed him shortly after, but this was not looking good to my chances at Kefka. Time for Kefka. I knew going in that I was going to have to do it, but I wanted to give it some attempts before I went with my actual plan. In Phase 1, my problems are Dread Gaze, which inflicts Petrify, Reverse Polarity, which changes Umaru's row, and Sapping Strike, which inflicts the stab status. The two status conditions are blocked by the ribbon, but if I'm in the back row, I'm doing less damage. In Phase 2, I have to deal with Gravity Bomb, which halves my health, Flare Star, which nukes me, 10-hit combo, which I need to save for last, but it never happens, Missile, which lowers my HP by 1/4 of my max HP, Confuse, which inflicts Confuse, Northern Cross, Southern Cross, Poison and Bio, which inflicts Poison, Imp, which inflicts Imp, Delta Attack, which inflicts Petrify, and Graviga, which reduces my HP by 3/4. Without a ribbon or region, this would be so much harder. Umaro could not even get past this wave, so I was ready to enact my plan. But even if I made it to the third wave, I would have to deal with Meltdown, which heals the partner of the boss that uses it and damages the whole party, White Wind to undo all of my damage, Doom, Tornado, which puts me into red HP, and when the bottom character dies, he casts Repose and kills Umaro. We haven't gone to Kefka yet, and we're already screwed. This is why I will have other characters standing still to soak up hits and die to Repose in the third wave. My first attempt with the body bags, I thought I could just petrify them and have them take the damage once I beat Phase 1, but they went away at the start of the second wave. This did actually allow me to make it to the third wave, but I got my butt handed to me. I could not progress unless the party survives the first two waves and then dies during the third wave at the end. I grabbed Terra, Celeste, and Mog, petrified them all, and continued the grind. Umaro wasn't at max level yet, so this would also help him. I had them equip Magicite that would increase HP and stamina, since only 2 Magicite increase HP upon leveling up. I geared the 3 up as much as I possibly could and was ready to beat Kefka. It took me 6 minutes to get back to where I was because this tower just had to be more annoying. In my first attempt, I only wanted to use one character alongside Umaro. Celeste didn't survive a quake and I reset to save time. This time I'm bringing everyone with me. Celeste died in wave 2, but there's still a chance we could pull through. However, since Umaro was put in the back row in wave 1, he wasn't dealing enough damage before Mog died, and then we died in wave 3. Round 2 with a full squad of body bags. Umaro died because I took off his ribbon and he got poisoned. Round 3, Umaro got sapped, which halves his healings, but he didn't dodge Repose, so we lose. For round 4, I thought adding Celeste in after wave 1 would be better, but it just means that the body bags and Umaro take more damage. Celeste actually dies instead of the damaged body bags. At some point, I left the game running so I could cook dinner for my family, so I didn't see what was happening, so we're going to experience this for the first time together. I decided to do live commentary for this part. Okay, we just got hit with a ton Gaga. Yeah, I think we're running Berserker Ring from what I remember. Ooh, Tendo combo. That means, I think G dies? I don't know. I forget what, I just came back to editing today. So I haven't looked back at the script other than what I was working on when I came back to this. But, yeah, G dies. Thundaga doesn't affect, the other, like, oh, that's bad. Viga. Like, this is, if I was to actually be playing this while doing this, I wouldn't have recorded the voiceover, but this is about what I would be saying in the moment. Okay, that's the end of the fight, because the fast forward thing went away on the side for auto battle. Okay, so yeah, this is a little boring, but I did want to add this little thing because what happened? Oh, little battery. Yeah. If you're gonna, I want you to take a guess in the comments as to why I'm doing live commentation for this part. You'll never guess why. You probably will. Not. Oh, this is me. Past me. I think I was explaining that I had to go to dinner. Okay. We're going to... Oh, the game audio is messed up. I'm gonna have to change that in post-production. Oh my, this is not good. The audio's, like, what you're seeing on the screen is happening a few seconds after before I hear the audio. I heard Tornado before any of it. So I was wondering, like, okay, Doom onto Mog, which I named Angel for this playthrough. Meltdown. Not sure if that heals Mog. It does. Okay, Mog's in the fight again. A slam. Repose. Hits Mog again. And the music changes. Oh, we're finally fighting Kefka. This is exactly why I wanted to do a live commentation. Since I wasn't looking at the game, I was stuck on Kefka's text box for 15 minutes and 45 seconds. 9.5 seconds on 100 times speed. Kefka uses Heartless Angel, selling her HP to 1. This is why the Miracle Shoes regen effect is basically required to beat him. I also forgot that I did a voiceover for this part, so if you hear muffled me, ignore him. Thrine blinds Umaro, but Slam and Throwing Terror can never miss. Until Terror dies, but that just makes Slam more likely. Forsaken comes out, and since it can never miss with our current setup, we need to survive it in order to win. We only take 1.5 thousand damage, so Forsaken has a heal requirement Umaro must reach in order to survive the next one. However, before Kefka can use a second Forsaken, Umaro uses one last slam and ends the battle. That was Final Fantasy VI's World of Ruin with only Umaro and 3 body bags. We're not going to talk about them, but that entire challenge makes this whole thing a mission complete. Umaro and body bags was completed in a total of around 8 hours after getting Umaro, in a total time of around 21 hours due to the fact that the game crashed during the end credits, so I couldn't see the final time. The fact of the matter is, Umaro is only good if he's at game-breaking levels. If any other character grinded with Umaro, they could have beaten the game in 2 hours. Final Fantasy VI is yet another Final Fantasy game where magic is broken and physically attacking needs to be better. Umaro is a great choice for the Colosseum, but not for a playthrough. We had to cheat and use body bags for the final fight just because Repose instantly kills him. Miracle Shoes are required and will never be taken off, and the ribbon prevents poison and sap, so we need to get extremely lucky to not get any of those dash effects in order to get to wave 3 and make it to Kefka. If we could use antidotes, we wouldn't have this issue. Or just the ability to heal inside of combat would make Umaro only much easier. We also need to remember that if Umaro is in the back row, his damage is halved. But most importantly, the reason Umaro isn't bad isn't because you can't control him. It's the fact you can't change his equipment. Final Fantasy V Solo Berserker can beat Neo XF with ease, even though he has less total health than Final Fantasy VI's final boss, because you can't change his gear. The ability to use the Bone Mail to ignore most of Grand Cross's effect, plus an Aegis Shield to stop White Hole in some versions of the game, or the SNES version you can use the Magic Underflow glitch to have an overpowered Earthquake spammer, makes a Final Fantasy V Berserker better in every way than Umaro. If we could give an Umaro Flame Shield or Paladin Shield, this challenge would be so much easier. A shield is the only thing holding him back from greatness. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, if you watched this far, you must have liked my video. So if you would like me to continue posting videos, please subscribe. If you would like to see me do the final boss with only one body bag, I've got a live stream VOD you can watch on the screen now. It is the second stream of me doing it with only one body bag, but I beat it during the stream so you can see how much different it could be with less body bags taking hits. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.